I think 300k by the end of the day. Kalau tak besok tak boleh shooting, tak boleh continue. I stress gila. I stress. You bayangkan I tengah direct ni, tapi I kena cari 300k by the end of the day. Oh, it's very hard. That was the toughest lah, to be honest. But I managed to find basically I just ask help from some people and also JIbril punya company to help, because I don't have 300k, you know, just to give like that, right? So that was the
Assalamualaikum, welcome to Unibizity Oxford Edition. Alright, so today we have someone very special, one of our participants for Oxford Leap. And before that, I would also like to say thank you to Unifi Business, your preferred digital partner, for making this happen and for, you know, giving us the trust to do this podcast. Alright, so today we have someone really special. This person is a businessman who does F&B business, but at the same time dia juga merupakan seorang film director. Dan kita nak tengok how these two world collides and what I think we can learn a lot also from our guest today. So Assalamualaikum. Hi Imran. How are you?
How are you? Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Alright, so thank you so much. So how are you enjoying yourself so far?
Very, very eye-opening lessons, and then also is a breath of fresh air lah.
Jom kita sama jalan.
Jom. Time ni pun kita apa nama ni? It helps lah, the environment, and then being at one of the most prestigious uni in the world kan. So when we learn in that environment, it helps a lot. Not only the courses tu best, tapi environment tu pun best juga.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, okay Imran, of course you are somebody yang, you know, banyak orang sebenarnya kenal sebagai seorang film director.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you are also a founder of a very famous salted butter chicken punya shop. Which is called JIbril. And I think I'm also one of your customers.
Thank you.
Way before I knew you.
Thank you.
But now that since we know each other, then we have a good discount lah kan?
Yeah.
So, I wanted to ask you, what were you doing before and what actually made you took that leap to actually do this business?
So I belajar undang-undang dekat UiTM Shah Alam. So during the final semester tu, I ada this kesedaran yang I think kalau I jadi lawyer ni susah kot nak jadi wealthy. So I decided to not to practice as a lawyer, tapi to start a business. So that was
so you were a lawyer by profession lah, ataupun lawyer by education. Okay.
Yes, by education I belajar undang-undang, tapi itulah, I rasa macam, of course, being resourceful and wealthy helps in our life lah, to have a family and to live a better life lah. So at the final semester dekat UiTM tu, I rasa macam I memang nak buat business before I graduate. So kita orang, I jumpa kawan I, John. He's the founder of Sangkaya dekat Jalan Alor. And then I cakap kat dia, boleh tak I nak jadi the first licensee for his business lah.
Which was?
Sangkaya, coconut ice cream.
Oh, Sangkaya?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I was the first, me and some partners.
But that wasn't that long ago, right?
That was 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
10 years ago.
So I remember there was one Sangkaya in Cyberjaya.
Yeah.
Where I used to live.
Yeah. So Sangkaya tu kawan I punya, tapi I minta jadi licensee pertama. So I dapat the license, and then kita orang buka dekat Subang. Sebab time tu kita orang, I study dekat Shah Alam, and then I know that Shah Alam people go to Subang, tapi Subang people don't go to Shah Alam. So Subang is a better spot lah to hang out. So
maksudnya Shah Alam is not cool enough for Subang people lah.
Maybe that's the perception lah. I mean, nothing wrong with Shah Alam ke apa, but it's more like from a business point of view, you want to get a location where most people want to go there.
Understand?
bila I tanya kawan I berapa nak buka, 15,000. Time tu I think I have around 7k from from my part-time job saving. So I decided, okay, I nak find some partners, and that's how I met my co-founders lah. So we open Sangkaya, but after 1 year kita dah dapat ROI tapi tempat tu dah sempit. So we need to move to another location. And when we move to another location, we need to make a decision whether to buka Sangkaya the whole lot or Sangkaya kat depan, belakang tu we do something else. Since Sangkaya is not our brand, so we want to try experiment in creating our own brand lah. So that's how in 2015, 10 years ago, Sangkaya kat depan, JIbril kat dalam. So
JIbril kat dalam.
Tu yang pintu secret tu, dalam tu JIbril, luar Sangkaya.
Well, that was how it started lah.
That's how it started.
That's very interesting. And so, mana that this business punya acumen ataupun business punya brain came from? Because you were learning law, and then were your family doing business?
Tak, sebab my dad was dia kerja dengan TMB, and then my late mum is a suri rumah lah. None of my sibling do business. To be honest, I don't know how to answer that question, but I guess I can attribute learning law, dia macam shape our minds to think more sharp. To think sharper, and then I guess that helps in doing business. Sebab I nampak orang yang belajar law ni kadang-kadang ada yang jadi businessman, ada yang jadi politician. So I think it's a good cause lah. I think that helps.
So macam mana you dapat business ni, tak tahu lah how that business interest came though.
Business interest came I think since high school, uni, I suka buat project. So it's all about creating something, right? But in uni, you don't really do a long-term business. So from there, I rasa I ada that skill untuk create something. So why not create something and also make money out of it lah?
That's interesting. So what would you say that one thing that made you took that leap from Sangkaya to giving your all to JIbril and building JIbril as a brand?
I think it's about longevity. Sebab if you want to create a brand that lasts long, you need to have control over that brand lah. Not to say that I assume Sangkaya is not going to go long, but it's more like as a businessman, you need to have your own brand as well. That's what I think lah.
And what was the key factor that made that decision?
I think because I see in F&B, there are certain categories yang ada longer lifespan. Contoh, in dessert, dia ada a very short spike in the beginning, tapi dia tak lama. Macam usually this year, this is the trend for dessert, and then next year, this is the trend for dessert. Whereas for food, dia lambat sikit nak naik, tapi if you can maintain it, it can go long lah. So the factor was longevity.
Interesting. Okay, let's have a seat and continue our conversation.
Okay.
Okay, bro. I want to ask you, right? What was the vision behind JIbril, and why that name JIbril?
The vision behind JIbril is basically we aim to create a halal speakeasy restaurant. So if I can explain a bit, speakeasy ni is a concept where it's like a bar, tapi bila nak masuk tu ada pintu rahsia. And the reason why we do this is because my own personal experience. Masa kecil I ada migraine. So doktor cakap I kena pergi tempat yang sejuk, gelap dan quiet. So speakeasy ni ada 3 benda ni. Dia gelap, dia sejuk dan dia quiet. Tapi quiet ni bila customer ramai lain cerita lah. So the whole idea is to create this kind of environment yang serve good halal food yang accessible. So of course our pricing is not like RM10 ke apa, but at the same time it's affordable to most people lah. Tak adalah sampai RM50 ke RM60. That's the whole vision, and the food mesti sedap. The name JIbril funnily enough datang from a character sebenarnya. So masa saya belajar
Karakter apa? Karakter malaikat?
Bukan. bukan malaikat. Masa saya belajar UiTM, 2 years before I open JIbril, I did legal theatre. So law student ni dia ada tradition every year akan ada this one mock trial theatre, where we do a play yang tunjuk how lawyers argue cases in court lah. So during my year 2013, I wrote the script and I directed this mock trial called JIbril. So JIbril is a he's an autistic lawyer. So dia macam pelik sikit tapi dia very intelligent. But he's a very mysterious figure. So because mock trial Jibril did very well, so we keep the name as a homage to for the restaurant lah. So it's an homage to the character.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So of course, from serving salted butter chicken to producing political thrillers, what's the common thread between your kitchen and also your camera?
I think running a restaurant and running a film production business, I think almost the majority of similarity tu adalah managing people. Because you're working with a lot of people and you're managing them, not to say micromanaging, but how do you align everyone in the kitchen or at the film set to understand the vision and to help me execute the vision. That's one similarity, but there's also some elements of creativity. So whether it's food, culinary, or film, or TV series, or theatre, it's storytelling, the arts part of it lah. So even dalam Jibril pun mesti ada story dia dalam script writing and film directing. Of course ada story dia jugalah. Yeah.
So between these two, right, but which one do you prefer more?
It's a tough question because of course dari segi sustainability, running a restaurant is more sustainable lah in terms of nak dapat enough income. But in terms of passion, every year sekali or every 2 years sekali tu, filem tu dia rasa puas sikit. Tapi I don't want to do that every day, to be honest lah. Yeah,
understand. So filmmaking ni kira is part of your passion lah.
It's part of my passion, but I'm trying to ensure that I can monetize that passion as well lah. So I'm not saying bila I buat filem I tak kisah pasal duit, I'm not saying that lah. But how do I monetize that, but it will take a longer time. Yeah.
Okay, how do you first realize that storytelling was your real business, whether through food or through films?
I think masa dah start running Jibril tu, and then we see customer suka all the food, and then okay, masa kita start kita ada several dishes, but there's one dish yang I personally together with my partners, I personally create the recipe and everything, is the salted butter chicken. And even that salted butter chicken ada story dia, which is my late father used to bawa kita orang satu family makan Chinese Muslim restaurant called Red Walk dekat Bangi. And then they are very known for their salted egg squid. So bila I makan rasa macam kenapa ramai orang tak makan salted egg as in orang tak serve salted egg kat restaurant. So I got the idea lah. And then masa I study kat UiTM pun gold chili butter chicken was really famous.
Oh yeah, gold chili kat Subang.
So bila I makan tu, I'm trying to create another variation.
Now that you're talking about this, I tengah melapar nak makan butter chicken.
Kat sini tak ada. That's one disadvantage of Oxford lah. So I try to combine the reference. I mean, some people might say copy paste. I won't say that lah. It's more like macam take that inspiration and from my experience with father juga to create a new dish. So even from that itself pun ada story dia. Turns out that this dish lah yang orang suka, which accounts for even until now 50 to 70% of our sales is that dish alone.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that this has become a very famous dish lah. And I think, to be honest, macam I dengan my group of friends and people yang live around Klang Valley, around KL, Subang, Shah Alam area, I think everyone dah familiar dah dengan Jibril ni, and it becomes a comfort food already. So how do you feel when, you know, something that you started as someone who just got off university, now that has become something so well received by the public?
Of course, for one, I'm very thankful lah, because I think it's not easy to do F&B business. But at the same time, even though I'm thankful and bersyukur dekat Tuhan, I also rasa banyak lagi boleh grow. So we can be happy and try to strive for more at the same time lah. That's how I feel right now.
That's good. Alright, so of course, you know, managing business is not easy. I think a lot of people see the beauty of the business, the best pasal business. But do you remember what was your toughest season running Jibril?
Okay.
And what that moment meant for you, and how did that thing help propel your career after pula?
Actually, my tough in JIbril, there was a lot of time where, for example, the first 2 years, the business is not picking up that well first, because of course lah, new brand, kedai pun tak ada signboard, very secret. But once cannot give up, and then once we push for it, market more, make sure the product is better, then it comes. Managing business is very tough because it's hard for me to pinpoint one single moment, but it's more like a period lah. Tapi like you said just now, buat business ni orang ingat like glamour, all the money ke apa, but they don't know the behind that is a very huge struggle lah.
Betul.
Which I think similar dengan film industry jugalah. Orang ingat film industry is like glamour, celebrity apa semua, but it's very hard work.
Yeah, probably your toughest moment came from your film punya.
Actually yes. So I want
to can tell about that.
So the toughest moment ever, I was directing this one TV series, and then bila I tengah direct tu, is an action scene tau, and then nak direct action scene tu is very hard. You kena fikir pasal shots lah, acting apa semua. Tiba-tiba I just got news that a funder pull out, and I must find I think 300k by the end of the day. Kalau tak, besok tak boleh shooting, tak boleh continue. I stress gila. So you bayangkan, I tengah direct ni, tapi I kena cari 300k by the end of the day. It's very hard. That was the toughest lah, to be honest. But I managed to find basically I just ask help from some people, and also JIbril punya company to help, because I don't have 300k, just to give like that, right? So that was the toughest lah.
And yeah, what happened then, and then how did you manage to get out of it, and how did then that movie do?
That TV series is actually Coup d'etat.
Was it the second one?
The second one. So it's a political TV series on Astro Shaw, yang Valinda Imran berlakon, Ali Aman Ramli, Eddie Ashraf, and several other actors lah. I think it did quite well for a new genre. So of course we couldn't compete with all the mainstream genre like drama ke apa kan. But for a niche genre, I think it did quite well. That was Coup d'etat lah.
Yeah, and I remember juga watching Daulat. That was the first
Daulat
political thriller movie, I would say. And I think until today, I think that is one of the best for Malaysia.
Thank you.
Kan, cuma I think it's not so widely distributed lah.
Yes, we do have a distribution problem. Sebab sekarang pun, if you nak tengok Daulat, you cannot watch it anywhere. So after a couple of years,
Can you just upload it on YouTube for people to watch?
Can, but then if I have a distribution strategy, I cannot use that anymore because I dah ada kat YouTube. Sebab before this, orang dah upload lah. And then I for quite some time, I tak kisah. But then once I do some other deals, they ask me to ask them to tell YouTube to bring that down lah.
And I nak tanya you pula kan, macam what was your harshest critics that you've received, either from food or from film, and how did that eventually help you grow pula?
Harshest critic banyak lah sebenarnya. If I want to be honest, more to Daulat lah. More to film side. I remember when I watched Daulat, we published Daulat on Netflix, banyak orang komen tak suka, and then I remember this one tweet cakap, you fokus buat butter chicken je lah, tak payah buat filem.
Oh yeah.
And for me, of course I was offended, but again, I'm a human, I need to understand that. But at the same time, banyak je orang yang puji juga. Because bila I tengok balik, arwah Adi Bahno cakap dia suka, and then Dr. Benny, banyak orang cakap dia suka. So for me, I just need to be objective and not to be personally offended. Sebab I rasa kalau I fikir pasal tu, I dah takkan buat. Actually, it's one of the thing we learn in the class also yesterday. We learn this one lecturer, Kusai. He's from Syed Business School. He said that in China, one of the most developed country right now, they do good enough V1 product. So V1, the first version of your product, cannot be perfect. Sebab if you are waiting for it to be perfect, it take a long time. And most likely it won't be perfect anyway. So actually bila I dengar dia cakap sebenarnya, actually that should be the way lah. If I nak tunggu I buat filem perfect, I'll be waiting 30-40 years, man. So I just need to start. Because without daulat, there's no kudeta. Without kudeta, there's no honey trap. Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think when you want to do something, you cannot tunggu perfect baru you start. Okay, macam even like macam kita buat podcast. I buat podcast dulu kan. I wasn't a podcaster. But takkan I nak tunggu, nak train, nak jadi paling bagus dulu baru nak start the first episode. Kan? Tapi I just start and then from there you improve lah. And from there you learn, from there you get the critics. Then the critics will also teach you a few things. Kan? And then after that you become better. Kan? Alright, I want to ask you pula kan. Macam of course when the money is tight, when you know the faith has been challenged, you know you don't know whether this thing can move on ke tak. Kan? What actually kept you moving?
I think everyone in this world, they really need to understand their own self. So what I mean by that is, I can tell you straight away, I won't say semua orang dalam dunia ni patut jadi businessman. Because some people are not wired to be that. Some people are wired to be a very great doctor. Some people are wired to be a very great cinematographer. That's fine. So I guess I think I understand myself, and I am wired to create things. I think lah, sama ada itu jadi atau tak is a different story. But because I am wired that way, I need to do it. That's the only thing that I do to change things and to tell stories lah.
I want to ask you, who inspires you? Do you have a role model or a mentor or someone that you look up to in the business world?
In the business world, I would say Steve Jobs. I really look up into him because I rasa Steve Jobs ni is one of the rare entrepreneur, businessman yang dia buat business tapi dia ada soul and creativity to the business. Sebab dia pun tak silap dia co-founded or founded Pixar.
Betul.
And dia memang, bagi dia masa zaman 80s tu yang Mac baru keluar, dia ada cakap yang Mac ni is komputer yang ada soul. Macam you kenal scientist, doctor, this is the Windows, but you kenal penyair or singer, filmmaker, this is Mac. Nothing is wrong with both of them, but it's like this approach is more to creative and soul, and I suka gila bila dia cakap macam tu. Macam I want to be like that lah.
Understand. Okay, I nak tanya you pasal daripada you punya business in terms of the filmmaking. You know, Daulat, Kudrat, Honey Trap, each tell stories about grit and messages. Which one changed you the most as a creator, and which one actually gives you a paradigm shift as a creator?
I rasa most likely Daulat lah. Even though for me, I try to always do better. After Daulat, I try to do better. After Kudeta, I try to do better. But the Daulat tu is like you said, the shift lah, the paradigm shift. Because without that, I cannot do anything else. And that was one of my intention why we did that as well lah. Sebab kalau I nak ambil jalan, I kerja dekat set ke apa, it will take longer time. And I understand some people had to do it, and it's unfortunate. But if I can find another way, because in Daulat case actually JIbril Restaurant funded the film lah. So in that way we can create a film, although we had some issues with the distribution that kacau our profit, but at least there's a silver lining.
Alright, macam in terms of JIbril pula kan, what do you think was the breakthrough moment for JIbril? And
I think it was somewhere in 2017 where orang dah start queue. It wasn't.
It was that long ago
8 years ago. We started 10 years ago, but 8 years ago yang bila orang dah queue. So it wasn't really a singular moment, but it's more like a period where orang start beratur. So naturally bila orang beratur dekat depan Subang Sales 15 tu, orang akan nampak kan what's happening. Oh, ada kedai kat dalam semua.
But apa yang terjadi ketika tu? Macam okay, after the first 2 years kan, what did you guys do? Did you guys have like an influencer ke? Ataupun what actually happened to suddenly get that breakthrough? And how did this whole JIbril brand became so big?
I think because JIbril, I think we did reach out to some influencer, although at the time influencer marketing ni is not really the mainstream lah. It's more to in the marketing punya school tu dia ada virality via word of mouth. So bila contohlah someone pergi JIbril, ada pintu secret masuk kedai lain gila. And then dia makan butter chicken. That is an experience. So that experience becomes their story to tell their friends. So in a way they are marketing they are doing the marketing for our product lah. So I think that was the intention all along. So when tiba-tiba ramai makan dan ramai-ramai refer, makin banyak marketing lah. I think that is the reason, although we can't prove that. Yeah.
But that was the start.
That was the start.
Dia tak ada macam media came over ke, jalan-jalan cari makan datang ke?
Jalan cari makan came later. Although I perasan in the first 2 years at JIbril, banyak selebriti datang. Somehow.
I think it's also the location lah. I think as a start tadi you cakap, you picked Subang instead of Shah Alam kan. I think that was the right move because a lot of celebrities, a lot of people yang cool ni kan, dia banyak duduk Subang kan. So I think that was one of became a tempat untuk budak-budak Subang lepak kan.
And I think bila customer pun let's say you makan, and then dia nampak ada satu celebrity makan sini, automatically bagi dia orang, kenapa celebrity tu makan sini? There's must be a reason. So in a way it's an indirect marketing.
And I think it's the product itself the product, the whole feel. And I think after that I saw JIbril expanding to a few more locations. Maybe you can share a little bit more about how this expansion happened.
Okay, so in 2019, I think it was 2018, we feel that we are ready to expand, especially we have some savings in our company's bank lah. So we are looking at places to expand, and the reason why we go with Publica is because there was an existing business that we can take over. So we spend less on decoration just because sebelum ni ada orang dah buat decoration. So we expand to Publica, and then in 2 years we expand to Bangi. It's the same thinking. We just want to expand and to serve our food to a broader area of audience lah. And then after Bangi, it was JB, Setapak.
So masa you start expanding, right? Your team started to grow as well. Daripada mungkin satu kedai mungkin berapa 10-12 orang, now 4-5 kedai dia mungkin jadi 100 lebih orang. So how do you manage people and how do you make sure that the company punya culture tu still intact?
Okay, that is one of the biggest challenge now lah, because masa kita start Subang, I think we only have 4 employees. Sebab customer pun tak ramai, dua
bukan
depan.
10 pun
Bukan, mula-mula lah. Eventually jadi 10. So it's easy to talk to them and say, you need to do this apa semua. But bila you dah ada 100, it's very hard. So what we are doing now is a proper HR system, and it's not just traditional HR yang payroll apa semua tu, but it's more like modern HR that includes culture, how to work properly, how to think properly, how to speak properly. So it's work in progress. But we are definitely looking into it lah, because it is really hard.
But I think in order for any businesses to grow, sustain, the most important thing is for them to have a good people. And because people will translate into how your customer feels, and that customer feels the way they feel your brand will then translate to how much value you put your brand. So I think we went to HR Owens yesterday. I think that was one of the lessons that we got. Like lambang Ferrari tu, it's just a lambang, but it has a 800 billion worth of market cap. And why is because how they make their customer feel, and how they make people want to be in part of that exclusive club. So I think in a way JIbril ni make customer feel good, make them satisfied with their ni, and then I think you guys have done an amazing job there lah.
Thank you.
Okay, jom kita sambung jalan sikit.
Alright,
so you've built a brand that a lot of people love, be it JIbril and also your film, people remember. So what does legacy means to you?
So I think the legacy I'm thinking of is how to contribute in terms of finding new ways to do things. What I mean by that is usually when we want to do business, we want to do films, we have this golden traditional rule yang you kena buat A, B, C, D, E, F, G. For example, masa saya buka JIbril, buka kedai tanpa signboard is the worst idea ever. So, but there's a reason why, because when a customer masuk kedai yang tak ada signboard, pintu secret apa semua, diorang akan
Sparks conversation.
Spark conversation. Kau tahu tak ada satu kedai ni?
Ada story lah.
Ada story lah. So what I mean by that is to broaden the thinking of how to do things. Of course in business kita pun nak try cari rezeki, nak kasih family cukup makan apa semua tu, of course betul jugalah. But to the broader scope of legacy, what if we can contribute society in the way that how to think and how to do things differently but works. It works. That's my view.
And you know, when you see JIbril kan, I think Malaysia has a lot of potential to be in the global footprint. Kalau kita tengok, you have people like Michelle Yeoh, people like Uncle Roger, people like Henry Golding who has become part of the pop culture.
Yeah.
But I think, as you point out before when we spoke earlier, the pop culture don't really recognize Malaysia as something yang macam, hey, let's go have some Malaysian food tonight. Kan? People will say, hey, let's go have some Thai. Why not we go have some Indian food, some butter chicken kan? But not the salted butter chicken. Kan? So, do you have a dream or a vision that one day that JIbril would actually go beyond Malaysia and, you know, be part of the global player and be in many countries in the world?
Definitely. It's actually in our 10-year plan. Of course, it's ambitious, I will admit, but it is our plan that in 10 years we would scale globally as well. Of course, several business dah ada Malaysian restaurant outside of Malaysia, but I'm talking about mass commercialization. It becomes pop culture. It becomes bila ada filem Hollywood ke apa, let's order Malaysian. They want to say JIbril or not, doesn't matter, but Malaysian. I think what's missing, because of course there's plenty other more capable businessmen here in the country, but I think what's missing is bila even in the class that we went to yesterday, I mean I went to, you were the program director, I went to yesterday, Kusai the professor talk about bila kita nak scale to new market, kita kena localize and adapt. For example, if tempat tu orang tak suka pedas, you kurangkan sikit pedas tu. So I think what I notice bila ada countries Thai food, Chinese food, they adapt a bit to that market. Not 100%, you cannot make curry and then tak rasa spice tu, tak boleh lah. Macam contoh Panda Express, tak silap. Panda Express is a Chinese food business, very popular in America. Bila what I heard is the makanan tak adalah pure Chinese food, but it's very catered towards the American market. So if we could have a F&B business scale to globally and adapt to each market, bila kita adapt pun kita still stick to our roots, this is our style, but we adapt a bit. Then maybe there's a way to scale globally. And also storytelling lah. Why JIbril? Because I'm sure the whole world is, majority of the world is familiar with the word Gabriel, which is the Western version of JIbril lah. So most people know that word, but they will think, who is JIbril? Why JIbril? That could be a way, but still a long way to go lah.
Alright, that is talking about food.
Yeah.
If we talk about the film,
do
you have any ambition to go global?
Of course, like Henry Golding, Tan Sri, Michelle Yeoh, all those are icons for me lah. It's very tough because ideally you want to make it here, then you
make it here in London.
In Malaysia. I forgot we're not in Malaysia. Make it in Malaysia, and then you go out and build your film there. But this topic I dengar different opinion because they say what Malaysians like and what the other markets like is different. But my point is I do want to go out there as well because we have representative from actors already lah. We have Henry Golding, Tan Sri Michelle Yeoh. Director not so much. James Wan is technically born in Malaysia, I think, but I think he's not Malaysian. Cannot remember. Director apa ni?
The hantu
Insidious. Conjuring. Yeah. So I do want to make it there as well. Of course, for me and also for the country lah, because Indonesian directors dah ada name sikit dah. Joko Anwar, he's and there's one Indonesian actor that directs a Hollywood film Nobody 2. Itu pun Indonesian director. But Malaysia belum lagi. Not that level yet. So I would love to be that as well. And I'm hoping for my fellow directors macam Rezo Kanain, Razai Syam Rashid, many other more. They also could be like that as well. Yeah. Of course, some people would think it's unrealistic. I faham, but doesn't hurt to try.
I think nothing is unrealistic. Kalau nak cakap pasal realistic, do you think it's realistic for Tan Sri Vincent Tan to buy HR Owens?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like we went to HR Owens yesterday.
Yeah.
They are doing like $500 million a year in selling cars in the UK.
Yeah.
And they have all the biggest brands, and they are one of the biggest distributors in UK.
Yeah.
And in the world.
Yeah.
Imagine. And the owners are Malaysian.
Itulah.
Kan?
Actually, it's mind-boggling jugalah. Macam you bayangkan pergi ke showroom semalam tu, the owner is Malaysian. So what?
And like how we were treated so kind.
Yeah.
We should stop believing that we can't go global.
Yeah. I agree.
I saw brands like AirAsia.
Yeah.
Because AirAsia is quite close to me.
Yeah.
Because the owners are people that I'm close to, especially Datuk Kamarudin Menanun.
Yeah.
And I see him, a Malaysian guy, kan sama je macam kita. But his brand is one of the top brands in the world.
Yeah.
AirAsia brand. You know, so I think anything is possible as long as we put our mind to it. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. That's why I always hear those skeptics, tapi I know where I want to go and I will never stop until I'm there.
Alright, I nak tanya you. If you have to give your 10-year-old, bukan 10-year-old self, 10 years ago punya self advice when you just started JIbril apa semua ni kan, what advice would you give him that will you think make his life better today?
Okay. I would say first, always be hungry. I mean not makan apa semua. I pun lapar juga kan. But hunger for growth, knowledge, curiosity. Never like you kena hungry selalu. So even when I'm hiring, number one I tengok dia orang hungry. Ada hunger tak? I nak buat ni. Hunger tu penting. Second, resilient lah. So I would tell my 25-year-old self, I baru 35 tau. I would say never ever give up, because if you do something, if you want to do something big, something negative yang big akan datang. Whether business problem, people problem, and you will feel like giving up. Confirm 100%. I think you ask anyone, any businessman yang dah berjaya, mesti ada something yang kacau dia orang. It is just nature. But you cannot give up.
Oh, I think that's such an amazing advice, because I think I'm going through that, man.
Oh.
Sometimes sometimes you feel like macam people, you want to do something big, but the challenge also sometimes is quite big kan. Tapi I guess that is part of that's why not many people are successful, I guess.
Yeah.
Betul tak?
Yeah. I think there's some moments before I rasa macam boleh je I macam, you know what, I just nak pindah kat some rural area and just live a peaceful life. But I didn't give up. Nothing wrong with doing that, but I'm saying jangan give up lah. Yeah.
I think keep going ni satu benda yang powerful, because when you keep going, that is when you see the result of what you actually want. Betul tak? When you give up, then you start thinking, oh, everything kita buat sebenarnya tak boleh jadi. Actually it's not benda tak boleh jadi. Actually you give up cepat.
Belum jadi,
you dah give up dulu. So how do you expect things to ni kan? Alright bro, at Oxford League kan, we talk about the leap that gives impact.
Yeah.
So if you could choose that one thing that happened in your life, that leap that happened, which one do you think would you choose?
So you mean this
Because-
program or before?
No, before, like in your whole life, whatever yang you did, that one leap of faith that you did, that actually changed everything.
There was this one time where I rasa I tengah depressed kot because of business and my late mum tengah tak sihat apa semua kan. So I feel like really depressed, I cannot do anything. And then I read this book called Medical Morning. It's actually just one sentence yang dia memang mind blown, yang change my behaviour almost 100%, which is dia kata how you do anything is how you do everything. Yeah, exactly. So bila dengar balik macam that is some powerful statement. So if you want to be a successful businessman, walk like a successful businessman. Treat your friends like a successful businessman. You cannot just this area you nak gempak, this area you tak nak gempak. Tak boleh, tak logik. So from there it changes 100% of my life. Masa I tengah depressed, then suddenly I came by this statement lah.
Yeah, and I think that is what education does to you.
Yeah.
Education actually improves your life. Knowledge.
Yeah.
This is knowledge, right? And sometimes bila kita pergi keluar cari knowledge, bila kita duduk baca, and that actually banyak momen yang akan shift kita punya mind and will make our situation daripada depressed tu kepada satu kejayaan. So that's why I think it's always important to keep going. Whenever you are down, whenever something that happens, you keep going, and also you try to learn, you try to improve, and find the wisdom behind everything that happened. Alright, so thank you so much, Imran, for talking to me.
Ashraf.
I think personally I've learned a lot.
Thank you. I learned a lot from you too in this program.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the program. We
Yes,
have another 2 days to go
Yes.
here, and I hope there will be something yang you boleh bring home juga. And yeah, thank you so much for talking to me, and I hope we get to see you progress, and I hope that JIbril will be a global brand pula.
Thank you so much, Ash.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Untuk semua usahawan dan innovator, tahap kesediaan digital anda boleh menentukan sejauh mana lompatan anda. Ambil langkah, cipta impak. Ketahui tahap kesediaan digital anda di IMPAK BIZ di biz.unifi.com.my/IMPAK BIZ dan menangi IMPAK BIZ Award. This is Unibizity Oxford Edition, dibawakan oleh Unifi Business dan Oxford Leap, kerana setiap transformasi bermula dengan satu lompatan berani. Alright, Assalamualaikum and see you guys again.
Kini tiba masanya bina masa depanmu.